So people ask me all the time, hey, how's your class this year? Well, if I had one word to sum up the class this year, I guess that word would have to be awesome. 6 awesome, really. Well, let's take a look at what made this squad so special this year through a segment inspired by internet personality Thomas Sanders. This is 6 Awesome Storytime. Storytime.
Laurel.
The students agreed they could hear something.
Laurel. Laurel.
They just couldn't agree what.
Laurel.
Storytime. The young ladies knew it was okay to play with putty while listening in class. They also knew that slime was a different story. No. Storytime. The students found trivia fascinating and knew that they could win big money one day if they studied hard enough. Storytime. The students sang delightful children's songs with words that had no meaning.
Thumbs up, elbows back, feet apart, knees together, bottoms up, tongue out, eyes shut, turn around.
I wasn't the only one. Storytime. They also sang confusing adult songs with words that had no meaning. Storytime. Students spent their time studying democracy all year long, but some couldn't always resist the temptation for revolution. Storytime. The students believed that justice and vibranium were the future. Storytime. The students knew it was never okay to play with somebody else's food.
Somebody touch my spaghetti!
Storytime. The young ladies felt it was important to share their stories with the world.
Hello, and welcome to the SMS Newscast.
Well, it's awesome. You managed to get 125 points.
Well done. After a break, we will have Weather with Roshni and The Walking Dead deaths with Bink and Rosh.
Storytime. The young man knew that playing with his phone during class was not appropriate, but the addiction was real.
No!
Storytime. The young lady valued her reading materials and protected them with honor. Storytime. The students loved not only telling stories, but singing them too.
Not just any pie, ugly pie.
Apples, nuts, and raisins too. We love ugly pie, we do. We're so glad that we could try. Old Bear Scrumptious, truly wondrous, beautiful, ugly pie, woohoo!
Woo! Storytime. The class was so awesome that each day a different student was celebrated as their captain. Captain Awesome today is Chantel. Don't tell her why she's awesome. Storytime. They knew they would one day find themselves in Walmart and would have to take over as the next yodeling greeter.
Said fly over that last long day, she said goodbye.
Storytime. The young men loved dinosaurs and imitated them to perfection.
Rip roar!
Storytime. 6 Awesome knew that when you were asked a question in Japanese, you respond in Japanese. Wakarimasu ka?
Wakarimasu!
Hi. Story time. Students knew a major problem when they saw one and reacted appropriately. The horror. The horror. Hey, 2 points for you. The horror. Story time. 6 Awesome missed their friend Zion when she moved schools, but got by with a less than perfect replacement.
Zion, this matches this number. Yes, it does. Good job.
Story time. The students knew a horrible video game when they saw one, except for Brian, who was forever in denial.
Fortnite.
Story time. The team knew how to support each other like they were on an episode of Family Feud. Hey everybody, what's 2 plus 2? Jaden?
Bananas.
Story time. The students knew to always be themselves, unless they could be a unicorn, in which case, definitely be a unicorn. Story time. The crew loved penguins, and class mascot Pongo loved them too. Group hug! Oh, what's that, Pongo? Ah, that's right. Story time. The man knew his favorite food and told everybody around him as often as he could.
Okay, well then there's like spicy ramen, there's miso ramen. Oh, you can't forget clean ramen. Like, you have to try it. Like, it's super good. Like,
Story time.
The cast of Beauty and the Beast were star performers, and they knew that acting was their ticket to fame.
Yoo-hoo, bonjour, handsome.
Oh, pish tosh, I'm not about to let a poor girl go hungry.
How could you read this? There's no pictures.
Where? Where?
May I draw your attention to the flying buttresses above the aviary? Do I still have to sleep in the cupboard?
This bed is broken. Get out.
Story time. The students knew how to react to unpleasant weather.
Ew.
Story time. The participants of a direct democracy knew that a secret ballot was the only equitable way to express their opinion. Heads down. Who's getting tired of all these videos? That sounds right. Story time. The students believed that mantras and positive affirmations were the secret to their success.
I am smart and I can do this.
Story time. The students wanted to celebrate being done their exam, but didn't want to disrupt people who might be finished nearby. Story time. The students loved mandatory large-scale standardized assessments and demonstrated dedication to their successful completion. Sorry. Also, they were very, very, very happy when they were over. Story time. The students listened to their teacher and collected his words of wisdom.
We sink or swim together.
Don't take your foot off the gas when the finish line's in sight.
You control you, or I control you.
You're not gonna see that question on the test.
Don't tell me what you can't do, tell me what you can do.
With the great power comes great responsibility.
The real word waits for no one. Small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, and great minds discuss ideas.
That's right. Story time. The students knew that military-style replies were the best way to get their point across. Did you have an awesome year this year?
Sir, yes, sir.
You're gonna have a great year next year, junior high.
Sir, yes, sir.
Are you ready to get out of here?
Sir, yes,
You're
sir.
gonna have fun?
Sir, yes, sir.
You're gonna be good.
Sir, yes,
Are
sir.
you ready for summer vacation?
Sir, yes, sir.
Well, get out of here! Story time. Students knew that love was always the answer. Story time. In the end, 6 Awesome knew it was always a good time for story time.
Story time. Story
quilts of America.
Guacamole, 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 guacamole.